Okay, hello everybody. Um, I'm back. It's been a while. I'm gonna be doing limited videos because of school, but right now we're gonna first kind of slowly just dive into the tropics just a little bit, and then we're gonna move on and go very in depth with the severe weather. We're gonna be having a very active severe weather pattern over the next few days, and I'm just gonna talk about it. First, we have Tropical Storm Grace. It was probably a Cat 1 to Cat 2 storm at landfall. NHC had it at like 80. There was a pressure of 978 millibars recorded, which was like 10 millibars below what the NHC had for it at landfall. Tropical Storm Henry, it's going to likely affect the northeast coast if you live in New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. You guys are all going to have, um, let me just say, you guys are all going to have impacts with this, whether it be from heavy rain, wind, storm surge. Either way, I'd say there's a good shot that stuff actually that this actually goes out of the cone here. That we actually get the storm to go a little bit further to the northwest. Right now, it could actually make landfall as a low-end hurricane, but believe it or not. And this thing will likely become a Cat 1 to Cat 2 hurricane somewhere in here over the next few days. Um, Yeah. Grace will likely become a it's only 50 mile per hour right now, but it'll likely become a hurricane um right as it landfalls into Mexico again. Likely around a 80 to 90 mile per hour storm as well. And then we have Linda out in the east coast. It is weakening as we speak. Weather prediction central-wise, we have a slight risk of severe weather today. We'll go into that in a little bit here. A large area. Tomorrow, a big area as well. Day 3, not much is going to happen. There is potential for severe weather, though, in like these areas here. We'll talk about that briefly. Front-wise, let's just look at that. So, into tomorrow. I don't know why the... Oh. This is not updated. Very cool. I thought this was going to update, but it didn't. Okay, so day 1 flash flooding. We have a couple areas of a slight risk. Tomorrow, slight risk. And some marginal. A lot of heavy rain likely across the northern U.S. as well, which they need. SPC-wise, we have a slight risk of severe weather with a 5 torr, 15 wind, and a 15 hail. Currently, severe thunderstorm watch out as well. We have a day 2 outlook here. This is the day we're going to really want to watch here, okay? We have a slight risk of severe weather from North Dakota and South Dakota down into Kansas and Missouri. The main area of focus where we will likely see an enhanced risk is like right in here, I would say. There's going to be a big enhanced risk tomorrow, likely. Probably driven by wind and tornadoes. Currently, there's a 5 torr, 15 wind, and a 15 hail. I think the hail will probably just stay the same. Probably won't change too much. There's mentions of a upgrade as well. And then with the day 3 outlook, not much is expected. There could be some isolated severe thunderstorms in like Kansas or something, but overall not too much. Day 4. This day looks rather significant as well. A very strong jet stream is going to eject across areas like Iowa, Minnesota, South Dakota, maybe even into North Dakota, and a good chunk of Nebraska. I think this risk with the day 2 will be moved, and I think we'll probably end up seeing either an enhanced or a slight risk with the new day 3 or this. Now let's go synoptically into the next couple of days here. To use the wrap here, we'll use the 15Z run. We're expecting a rather strong trough to come into the plains tomorrow. This is going to be very strong and abnormal for the season. We don't get troughs like this very often. And when I mean very strong, I mean very strong. The wrap is actually a bit of an outlier with the low. It has the low being a bit weaker than some of the other models. But we're likely going to see a huge amount of low level show. Just look at the HRRR. Go look at the 18Z run of it. Well, we'll just stick on the wrap. You know what? We'll stick on the wrap here. But A very strong jet stream pocket is expected. That's going to mean you're going to have a lot of forcing for severe weather tomorrow. Let me just outline the area that severe weather is possible in. Kind of. It'll be possible in areas kind of like this tomorrow. It's going to be more likely to occur in these areas here. And probably most likely to occur probably like in here. So like eastern South Dakota into Minnesota and Iowa. A very strong low-level jet is expected too. Upwards of 50 knots in some spots in here. Which is going to create a lot of severe weather here. We're going to have dew points getting up into the 70s, low 70s. There's even a target in Kansas. I'll take a sounding there. Southeast Kansas could even get affected. Yeah, there's a sounding right there. A lot of instability here. And I do think we'll probably see a slide down there. It'd be for wind and hail. Those are really the only threats. It's lacking deep layer shear too. But again, another good sounding right here for wind and hail. The main tornado risk is going to be kind of centered right near that low pressure all the way into areas like this. Probably something like that for your main tornado threat. I do think a 10% is possible with this event as well. We'll have to go into more things like that. You're looking at your theta E charts, and there's a lot of it. It's not as high up here, but it's taking soundings. It still looks rather good. I mean, look at that shear profile. That's really good. I have lots of shear coming in here. A lot of shear. Yeah, look at this. A lot of shear. A lot of deep layer shear. We don't really see this much deep layer shear too often in the summer. When we do, it's a pretty, rather significant event. So, definitely going to be something to watch tomorrow. Deep layer shear overall is going to be anywhere between 30 and 50 knots in most spots as well. Now, moving along here. And actually, we'll look, moving along here onto, let's go to the NAM now. We'll look at the NAM, we'll go to 500 millibar, and let's look at Monday, or Sunday. Look at Sunday. Another strong trough comes in. It's gonna be a big time, it'll be a big time severe weather maker again. This time it'll be areas, it'll be a very interesting one. It'll be areas kind of like this. That would be in the main focal zone for this one. So it's basically the same areas. And again, looking at the low-level jet on this one, the low-level jet is rather significant too. Yeah, 40 knots up and down here. Now, dew points are going to be, yeah, you'll get a triple point setup in Nebraska there. Probably where your greatest risk will be, right along that triple point. We'll just take a sounding up there, right there. And holy crap, that's along the triple point right here. Wow. This profile might get a little bit too outflow dominant. I don't really see the temperatures being that hot in the low levels there. It's possible, though. It's possible we get a surface temp of like 91 degrees, but I don't think that's going to happen. Either way, this is a sounding for all hazards. That would include the risk for significant wind, tornadoes, maybe even some stronger tornadoes, and very large hail. Now, I don't really want to be looking at soundings too much because this is still further out. We don't really have cams for it yet, but let's just look at the other necessities here. We have a lot of instability that's going to be stockpiled along the warm front. That's going to create a bunch of not good stuff. Going to create a lot of forcing and stuff you really don't want to see with a system like this. A lot of vorticity in the lower levels as well. There you go. There's Henry over there. We'll just see what the NAM takes it down to. Oh, it's not even very strong. That's unrealistic. It'll be stronger than that. But the NAM has a small little low right there. Let's look at the GFS. GFS is a bit different of a solution than the NAM. It's got a pretty strong little front here. Let's just take a look at it. Yeah, it's got more moisture into North Dakota and areas like that. Now, I don't think it has as much moisture as we will likely see. We'll likely have more 70 dew points getting up here than GFS shows, which is typical. The GFS doesn't usually show as much instability as some of the other models. I think the most likely solution right now is probably going to be the Euro. The Euro has 60 dews up in this area, but it has a widespread area of 70s as well, and even 80s in the south. The Euro as well has a very strong trough coming in here. I mean, look at that. That's a vigorous trough again. Very strong trough for the time of the year. And again, has a strong low-level jet too. Not as strong as the NAM, which is understandable. But again, look at this. This is a really nice sounding here. Lots of shear. Lots of SRH. It's got everything it needs. I mean, this setup looks really good. And I know I'm not going to dive into settings too much. I'm just going to pick one off every model. Looking at the theta E margins as well, we have solid theta E all the way up until central North Dakota, or South Dakota there. I do think the SBC is going to move the risk around with the new outlook too. Let's look at the Canadian here. The Canadian, again, it wants a pretty similar solution to the rest of the models. I think the NAM's a bit of an outlier with the moisture not getting as far north. It wants more of a warm front setup. I think you're going to get moisture along that triple point. Just how much is the question. There might be like 2 areas to really watch here. A couple of areas here. But the Canadian, again, wants some strong moisture coming in here. Again, a pretty strong trough as well. We have agreement between the models and a strong low-level jet again. We have agreement. Looking at the UK Met. We'll look at the UK Met too. A UK Met wants a strong low-level jet. Wants a strong mid-level jet. And it also wants some pretty vigorous heating as well across the area. We want some good moisture content getting in there. I mean, what can you expect? This is looking like a pretty interesting event, if I had to say so. Like, very interesting event. There's the system hitting New York City with that model. Interesting. Now, let's go more into the mesoscale of tomorrow's event. So let's go into that. We're going to go more into the mesoscale. We're going to look at the HRRR, look at the E18Z run of it. We'll look at the other models as well. Let's go for about 21Z. I don't think the 18Z HRRR has like the memo. I think there's gonna be more widespread convection than it shows. And I don't think it's gonna be like this at all. The 12Z demonstrated what I think is gonna happen tomorrow a lot better. It has more widespreadness to it. I think this is gonna be the more likely solution, to be honest. Looking at it, let's look at the environment as well. The environment is very well there. I don't think you're going to get surface temps that hot because of more convection in the morning, but lots of 3K, lots of good shear values there, partly because of that strong system coming in. Once we get to about that 0Z time frame, we'll likely see a large embedded line of supercells and or a QLCS system start to form. There's going to be a very strong low tomorrow as well. The low tomorrow could get into the low 990s to the upper 980s, which is very rare for a system this time of the year. Very rare. I'll say that right now. It's very rare for a system to get that strong this time of year. It happens though, and this is going to be one of those cases where it happens. It might happen again later this week. Looking at the ARW model, it's got that's not a good sign right there, but looking at the ARW, we have a lot of strong instability getting up here. I don't think we'll quite see this much instability, but there's a lot. There's a good amount of deep layer shear as well. I think it'll be more widespread than this. I don't know why it doesn't have a lot in front of the storms. Lots of things. So, okay, this is more likely to happen. More widespread shear in front of the storms. I think we'll probably end up seeing a string of supercells down the dry line here. I'm pretty sure this is our dry line we checked. Yeah, well, this is going to be a very interesting setup just to watch tomorrow. Very interesting. Keep our eyes peeled. Now let's go on to the next day. We'll go on to we'll just look at be Saturday. Let's go to the NAM 3 kilometer here. So isolated strong to severe storms are going to be possible in kind of Kansas, northern Oklahoma, Texas Panhandle. Probably a marginal risk will be added. Probably for all hazards, including a 2% tornado risk potentially. Yeah, there's stuff like this. I mean, the low level, the cap, there's a bit of a capping inversion right here, so that's not that great, but I think a marginal could be added. And you're asking, why is it a bit further off the ground? Well, because this area is more higher elevation, so. Well, yeah, I think we have covered everything that I wanted to. Um, I will probably maybe have another one out in the next couple of days, but I'll see you whenever I have another one out.